Good morning, Don Maxwell from Live IT Academy, and we're continuing with our Excel 2016 lessons. And today we're going to be covering the AutoSum. Well, the AutoSum is a tool, it's on the command line within the ribbon, and it's used for calculations, right? One of the things with the AutoSum is that by default, it uses the sum function. But the big secret is you can do all other functions with the AutoSum. So it's a very convenient tool. It helps to calculate both the horizontal numbers or vertical numbers. So it will calculate numbers in rows or columns, and it does it by simply clicking on that command. All right, so let's see how we can do that. Let's go to a report. This is a regional shoes sales report, and we're selling sneakers, shoes, sandals, accessory, and so on, and in different regions. So let's say we want to calculate how many sneakers were sold in the various regions. The first thing you want to do is, go put a label in our report called totals. And we remember what labels are for. Labels tell us what the numbers are. So putting totals here, right, will tell us that this is our total line. Now, we want to go to the row or the record that we want to calculate. And we simply want to calculate all the numbers, east, west, north, south numbers. Traditionally, you would have to go through the process of putting in a more complex command by putting in the numbers, adding them, and so on. But look what happens when I invoke this tool. Now, there are two easy places to get this tool from, but let's say the easiest place is to go to Home, Editing, and right on that under Editing tool, we'll see the AutoSum tool, right? And this tool automatically adds a quick calculation to your spreadsheet. It could be sum or average. Now, by default, it uses sum, and some people think, oh, this is the sum tool, but it really is more than that. All right, so what happens when I go to that tool and I click once? Wow. Excel automatically assumes that the numbers adjacent to that resultant cell, the cell that we chose, is the numbers that we want to calculate. And you'll see in this case, it is the horizontal, it is the record numbers, right? So from east to south, they're all in adjacent order. And so Excel assumed, so I didn't have to pick the range or anything. Right? So the next thing I want to do is accept that formula. Now, in previous classes, you may have learned or seen that if I press or use the enter button on the formula bar, there's a big difference than when I use the enter button on the keyboard. What is that difference? Well, if I use this enter button on the keyboard, the pointer, you see, the active cell remains on that F5. That means the active cell is on the same cell where I entered the formula, right? Wow. Well, let's look at the difference. I'm simply going to undo this, go back to our formula again. Now, if I press the enter button, what happens? The active cell is below the formula, right? And that's critical when we're working. That's like a one-step critical move, because if I need the formula, I need to go back and click there. So there's a difference between using the enter button on your keyboard and using the enter button on the in the formula bar, right? When I use the one in the formula bar, it stays on that formula and make the cell stays active, right? If I press the enter key, it will advance the mouse pointer to the next cell below, right? All right, so look what happens when I do the vertical, right? What about if I put total down here? I can put totals here too, total. Or make this the region totals. So I'm gonna make this region totals. Right, and that says east, west, north, south will be totally. So if I place my cursor here and I press the AutoSum, this is what happens. Same thing, right? So, and again, notice I use my keyboard, right? Because if I press my keyboard, notice my mouse pointer is advanced, right? Surely if I use the enter button, it will remain on cell with the formula. Okay, and many of you have already learned the fill handle because that's another powerful tool. So if we wanted to do, we can fill, right? And the easy way instead of dragging is what? Double clicking the fill handle, right? Double clicking the fill handle, right? In this case, we have to drag. I think double clicking the fill handle here should fill it. Double click, yeah. All right, so there's a difference in using that double click, horizontal or vertical. All right, so now the totals are easily calculated by either double clicking or dragging on the fill handle, right? So all we have to do is calculate it once. So let's look again at some of the things that the AutoSum can do. All right. So by default, it's sum, right? We know that's by default. What if we wanted the question is, what is the average? What is the average of all sneakers sold, or what is the average of all the products sold? All right. So if I have again the word totals, and this time I'm going to look at the average. So all I have to do is go back to that command, right? And now I pick average. Look at that. Press enter, and this is the average, right? And again, using the enter key, right, makes a difference. All right, so that's average. Can I do others? Yeah, I could do minimum, right? I could try to figure out what the minimum is, right? Right, and let's do one more. How about maximum? And you see the difference when I click on the enter key in the formula bar. All right, and don't forget, if we autofill option allows us to flash fill, right? Double clicking or select and drag, right? Okay, and what we do here, we can do here, right? Totals. These could be regional totals, but totals. All right. So what if we want the counts? You can do more functions. And we can look at, we can even look at the count function. So let's see, count, get that right spelling there. All right, so if we want to use the count function, okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, count function return us how many numbers in this row, or how many numbers in this column, right? And so the AutoSum is a very powerful tool, right? A one-stop shop tool. The other thing is to note that you can go to formulas in the function library, and there it goes. It's right there, right? So I want to know what is the average here. Right? And so on. So it is a pretty powerful tool. As I said, a two-step type tool. First, you find the answer in the resultant cell, and then you simply fill, right? Simply fill the rest of it with using the fill handle. So great job, you guys. Use the AutoSum. It will make your life a lot easier. Okay? Have a great day.